Police officers have now been charged in connection to the death of George Floyd. Derek Chauvin was the officer who knelt on Floyd's neck as he begged for air. His previous charges have been elevated to second-degree murder. The other three officers at the scene were charged Wednesday for the first time with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Michele Rayner-Goolsby joins me now. She is the founder and principal attorney of Civil Liberty Law. She also works for Ben Crump Law, the law firm representing the family of George Floyd. Michele, thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks for having me.
So Derek Chauvin was originally charged with third-degree murder when he was arrested. Why did Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison change that now to second-degree murder?
I think the video was very clear that there's a distinction between second degree and third degree. So third degree is without intent. Second degree is with intent. And I think when you look at all of the totality of the circumstances, you see that there is an intention or a depraved mind or a disregard for George Floyd's life.
And the other officers at the scene were not originally charged in this case. They are charged now with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Explain what exactly that means.
So essentially, the officers were complicit. And I believe even the chief of police indicated that he believed that the officers were complicit. They had a duty to stop Officer Chauvin from doing what he was doing, from murdering George Floyd, and they did not. So essentially, not only did they have a duty as a police officer, but they also, I would argue, had a duty as a human to stop what was occurring, and they chose not to. They allowed it to happen. And even at some point, I believe two of the three were involved in essentially pinning Mr. Floyd down in murdering him.
Are you satisfied with all of these charges?
You know, I don't know if satisfied is the right word. I think that I'm cautiously optimistic about the upgrade in the charges, but I don't know if you'll ever be satisfied because Mr. Floyd is not here with his family. He is not here with his children. He's not able to enjoy his life and grow old and watch his children grow up and do the things that a father should be able to do, a human should be able to do. So cautiously optimistic, yes. Satisfied, no, because Mr. Floyd isn't here.
So we obviously don't know yet what the outcome of all of these cases are going to be, but what impact do you think potentially this case of George Floyd could have on future cases like this?
I think that we're in a moment where that folks are tired. And I have a friend of mine who has indicated that, you know, folks are willing to risk their health to come out in a pandemic to protest what's going on. And I believe that if a jury of moral-minded people do the right thing and they convict, these officers, that you will then see a ripple effect hopefully happen, and you will see reform happen in, our engagement with law enforcement and how law enforcement engages with the community.
Is it possible for these charges to be elevated even further as this case goes on?
I believe that Attorney General Ellison was saying, that is not off the table. As more evidence comes, as more evidence and witness statements are brought to light, that is a possibility. And I don't believe that it's off the table.
How has Attorney General Ellison's role impacted this case? Because he took over this from a county attorney.
I think that it has had a significant impact. I think that the history of who Keith Ellison is, he's known as someone who is a fearless defender of what's right and, pursues justice. And I also think that he wanted to make sure that this was done right. But moreover, I think that he watched at the video that all of us saw, and then there comes a point in that video that you don't believe that Mr. Chauvin did not have the intent to kill George Floyd. There were folks telling him he can't breathe. Mr. Floyd at one point, I can't breathe. And the officers, had his knee on George Floyd's neck with his hand in his pocket, smiling and looking at the camera phone.
Right, there were multiple opportunities to stop that action. Michele Rayner-Goolsby for us. Michele, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.